Now, there will be people, especially Buccaneers fans, who say, well, why would he not want to play
right?
for our favorite team anymore? And this has been percolating around there. And Rich Ohrnberger, who played in the NFL for a number of years, played with Brady in New England.
Yep.
He had a series of tweets week and a couple of days ago, and he was very strident about it. He said his sources are impregnable that Brady was disillusioned with Bruce Arians, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it should be no surprise to anyone that Arians wasn't grinding the way Bill Belichick does, wasn't grinding the way Sean Payton does. He was delegating a lot of things, delegating the construction of the offense to Brady and offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich.
Right.
And, in any workplace, I don't care what the industry is, if the boss isn't working as hard as everyone else and everyone else is busting their asses, at some point you're going to have resentment.
No doubt.
At some point there's going to be a moment of friction where the boss tries to chime in and the people who have been busting their asses are saying, wait a minute, we know what's going on. We're here trying to solve these problems. You just can't barnstorm in and tell us do this, don't do this, don't do this. And I think that was some of the guts of what Ohrnberger was saying, that Arians was swooping in and changing things in the game plan when he wasn't there to construct the game plan. And, you can only take so much of that. When you got 20 years of Bill Belichick devoting every single minute of his life to winning football games, and you go to a guy who's semi or mostly retired as the head coach, you're going to notice a difference.
No doubt. Belichick's all-time grinder, like we've talked about. That's just what he is. He's the greatest worker in the history of the NFL. Never stops, never. Even on vacation, he's sitting there, riding waves, watching film. It never ends. It's just the way he is. So there's nothing to live up to that. And that's what's percolating around the NFL, Mike. Is that exactly what you're explaining there? First off, when you're the head coach of a football team or the boss, you need to be the hardest worker. You're being paid the most. You're the example setter, all of that. I think you look at the great organizations in football, their head coaches are their greatest workers that way. But yes, what you hear from people around the NFL there was some sort of disconnect or resentment as far as Leftwich, Brady laying down the game plan. And the thing I continue to hear is Bruce Arians coming in on a Thursday or Friday and then changing things up, crossing things out. No, we're not going to do this, we're going to do that, and blah blah blah. And that to me is where I've heard there was a little friction in the relationship to a degree. But Brady, I'm sure if Tampa Bay fans hear this right now, they're not going to like that. They're not. And they're also It's intriguing in the fact where you go, man, I don't know if he'd really play. What's the deal there? Man, why wouldn't you want to go back to Tampa? I understand the lifestyle thing in Miami, but there's just so many things to unpack about this whole thing. I think that's that's why it's such a cool subject.
Well, and look, there's been so much smoke about Brady not actually being retired, starting with him 6 days after he announced that he was done playing. He did the never say never thing on his podcast. And that's what sparked several weeks of ongoing conversation and discussion and speculation about what he's going to do next. I think he ends up with the 49ers. I still think he ends up with the 49ers. But the Dolphins were in play, and it sounds like, based upon what you're hearing, what I'm hearing, it's not just a pipe dream by Miami. It's not just we're going to throw a dart here. We're going to close our eyes, and we're going to throw one dart at the Sean Payton board and one dart at the Tom Brady board and hope they both somehow land. That there were eyes open and not very far proximity between dart and board in both directions.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Brady handpicked Payton. Because Payton is far, far, far closer to Belichick from the grinding and working and striving and always looking for
definitely
any
more of that guy.
Camp.
Right. He comes from the Bill Parcells School of Coaching. So that's what he is. He would be familiar with that. Let alone, Mike, to your point with this, first off, yes, I think this was all tactical. You're right. It's not darts at a board and just throwing it. And then I think when you add into the fact, too, of like this little nugget, don't forget about it. You and I both know that the Saints, were involved in pursuing Tom Brady the first time he left New England. That was a thing. That was going on. I know I've told you that. I certainly know people that are aware of that situation. So, again, I think there's always been a common like respect or love between these two. Why wouldn't there be? You laid it out perfectly. It's the greatest offensive mind, we've seen in football maybe in the last 20, 30 years. It's arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. I get it. He's building a house in Miami. I get that as well. I do. And the other thing I was led to believe is that, like, Brady was not all in on this yet. Brady was like, from what I was told, Mike, Brady was going to be given the leeway of kind of waiting till June if Sean Payton did take over in Miami to make the decision if he really wanted to do it and get back into it. They were going to give him time. It wasn't like a definitive thing of like, yes, I'm playing, but it was, of course, on the radar. It was being orchestrated, and they were going to give him some time to kind of think about it and think if he really wanted to, give it one more go.
I really do think that what Brady is setting himself up for this year is taking off February, March, April,
seems like
May,
a little, right?
And into June. And, after doing it for 22 years where you are constantly working with your teammates and constantly trying to get ahead of the curve, maybe he's thinking, I don't really need to do that. I don't need to do that, especially if I land in the right spot where there's a good system and a good structure in place. Maybe he felt like he needed to do it in Tampa because the head coach is semi, if not mostly, retired. Maybe if he goes to a place where they're busting their butts and getting everything ready, and he knows when he jumps on the boat, everyone's going to be rowing, that they can get it together between the start of training camp and the start of the regular season, or more importantly, the end of the regular season when it's time to be firing on all cylinders.
That's right.
And I think he's playing it. I know that nothing is definite, nothing is certain, but I think he still wants to play. And when he made the comment along the lines of he doesn't know how he's going to feel when June, July roll around, well, I know how he's going to feel. I know he's going to feel, oh, crap, the world is going to move on without me. What am I going to do the first Sunday of the regular season when I get to turn on the TV and watch all these guys who, in comparison to me, suck? And he said that. The last thing he wants to do is turn on a game and see that the guys playing suck, and that he can still do it. We just have 5,000 passing yards. His arm is as strong as it's ever been, if not stronger. Yeah. Of course he's going to watch a game week one and say, as to multiple quarterbacks, I can do it better than them. I think he's coming back. I think that the compromise for this year with Mrs. Brady was, I'm going to shut it down and go 100% family time, except for my workouts and my diet. I'm 100% family time from now until training camp, maybe all the way up until training camp. And then let's make a decision after June 1 what I'm going to do when training camp opens. That's just, let me tell you, by having him around for 4 months, she may want a break.
Yeah, she might be like, all right, time for training camp. Go ahead, get out of here. Learn your audibles. Go throw some footballs. Get out of here.
4 days at the beach was more than enough for my wife dealing with me, because it was the first time we'd gone anywhere, just the two of us, where I wasn't working since our honeymoon. We go to Super Bowl for a week. It's just the two of us, but I'm working every day.
Right.
And she gets plenty of space to do whatever she wants to do. Well, she didn't have that space the last 4 days, and I think 4 days was about all she could deal with. So 4 months,
I understand.
Maybe more.
I get it, Jill. I'm only a 4-day-a-work guy from this time of the year on because of that. There's only so much I could take. I mean, damn. I need a 3-day weekend. It's just I need a break from you. I get it, Jill. I totally get it.
So, I think
but
that's
I'm with you
really
with your Brady stuff. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And that's really the takeaway. The macro. The micro is Dolphins had planned to try to make this happen, and it would have been something if they had pulled it off. The macro is Brady ain't done, and Payton probably isn't done either. Although, once Payton starts making some of this crazy-ass TV money and realizes, I don't have to work as hard, I don't have to stay up as late, I can exercise, I can watch my diet, I kind of enjoy my life, my employment doesn't hinge on the arbitrary bounces of an oblong ball or a gust of wind or somebody making a bad call or some other thing I can't control. I can control this. I control the words that come out of my mouth when they tell me to talk. And I'm making as much or more money doing it. We haven't talked about this because we were off last week, but the money's crazy and it's getting crazier.
Oh, it's crazy.
For the top end of the broadcasting food chain.
Can I announce games, please? Seriously. Can I be somebody's number one announcer? But yeah, you're right, Mike. I mean, I hear you. But, again, Not that I know Sean Payton like all that well, but of course know him, been around him a little bit, know a lot of people that know him. To me, here, this is a great example. A guy that's burned out. Well, wait, Miami? I can go to Miami and be a part of the team, and Brady? Okay, I'm ready to go and be the king of Miami again. Okay, fine. He won't be able to hold back. He's a coach. He can't help it. It's just like Brady at quarterback. It's hard. He can't help it either. It's and I'm with you. The door is not shut on Brady. I thought the door was shut, but when I started to hear this stuff and too many people telling me different things, the door is not shut. I'm not saying he's definitely going to play football this year, but he's obviously keeping it cracked open for some sort of opportunity return. Obviously, there was something in the works or being thought about here, and I bet you we're going to continue to hear more and more now that we've kind of broke this story and put out some details. I would think that other people are going to start to put out other details or connect some dots, and we're going to get a more clear picture of this story as the week goes on.
We were very nervous about teasing this and having someone else find out about it.
I couldn't believe it lasted the whole week. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. It's going to come out next week, and that stinks because I feel like you and I were, probably at the front end of kind of knowing some of this stuff. But, yeah, I'm shocked. Here we are Monday. We made it, and we got to talk about it for 38 minutes.
And I'm with you, though. I think Brady is not done. Maybe he takes a year off. Maybe he comes back this year, but I don't think he's done. And this whole narrative of what else does he have to prove? We hear that all the time. What else does he have to prove? Well, what else does he have to prove in Tampa? Maybe that's the sentence that we should be uttering. What else does he have to prove in Tampa? Nothing. But he can prove other things. He can go to the team that he grew up rooting for and win a Super Bowl with them and then walk off into the sunset.
Yeah,
or he could have gone to Miami and competed head-to-head with Bill Belichick and the Patriots twice a year in the same division. Maybe going back there and beating the Patriots gave him the confidence if he went to the right team in that division. And really, what team in that division would have needed him other than the Dolphins? It would have been perfect if it had happened for him. So, and who knows? Maybe it still will. We know the Payton side of it isn't going to happen, but I mean, if I'm Mike McDaniel I look at Tua and I look at Tom Brady.
Right. We know the 49ers pursued Brady a few years ago. I mean, we know there was some common, conversations going on or something, flirting, whatever, before Brady kind of narrowed it down to Tampa or New England there at the end. Yeah, so I can understand that. I mean, you're right. It's just McDaniel's unproven. That's the only difference, He's not Sean Payton, but it's still a system. And I think an offense that Brady's going to look at and go, that guy knows what he's doing, or they know offense there in that Shanahan San Francisco scheme and all that. That's for sure. So maybe it won't be closed. You're right. We'll see where this goes. But it's not. The door's not closed with Brady. I'm with you there. I don't know if it's going to be this year or not. Maybe it's never again. But I think the fact that the things he said, you brought up, having myself lived with a quarterback who played in the NFL for 15 years, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter with what else is there to prove. What else is there to prove is Brady likes to compete and kick ass and take names. And he wants more rings, and then he wants to stick his finger up to everybody and say, screw you, I got another ring. That's what drives him. And that's where it's going to be interesting to see how he feels when it comes June, early July, if he can, put some cold water on those flames that burn within him that way.
He has always said when he's asked which ring is his favorite, and his answer consistently is the next one. And he's always pursuing the next one. And the moment he acquires the latest one, he's thinking about the next one. And I think he's thinking about getting that next one somewhere other than Tampa Bay.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.